Welcome to FPL Selection. Today we'll take a look at how the team is shaping up for game week 18, but first a quick look at how we got on in game week 17. So 60 points overall. It's a very poor score this week. Only had a handful of players return. We had Defcon for Senesi and Anderson, but he also got the clean sheet as well. An assist for Palmer and captaincy points for Haaland. Obviously everyone's got those. Starting to be a bit worried about my defence. I've got nothing from Arsenal or City. I think I might have gone a bit too cheap there. But I'll definitely give it a few more weeks before making any moves in the defence. I think I need to see it play out over sort of 3-4 more game weeks and just see if there's, any improvement. I think there's still plenty of potential, especially having all the DEFCON guys as well. That, they'll come good or at least match a lot of the Arsenal and City guys. So, yeah, I think we've got plenty of potential there for some better weeks ahead. Just going to have to, try and claw back the sort of 350,000 places that, I've lost this week. But, could soon turn around in 1 or 2 weeks, I'm pretty sure. So looking ahead now to game week 18, I've got one free transfer. Obviously, the big problem is Bruno Fernandes. He's likely going to miss at least 3 or 4 games. Into sort of mid-January, you'd estimate, with a hamstring injury there. The 3 players I've got in mind at the moment are Cunha. I think he's looked really good over the last few games. He's had returns in his last 3. United have got good fixtures after this Newcastle game. So, he looks like a good option. He's going to be United's main man now with Fernandes out injured and Mbeumo at the Africa Cup of Nations. So, potential on penalties too. Rice is a bit of a safer option. He'd been sort of more of a longer term pick with good minutes, steady points. I think with Rice, he'd be someone you'd want to keep kind of longer term, a bit like Bruno Fernandes, sort of 8 to 10 weeks or longer. Just think he's, you're maybe not going to get the huge scores from him, but you're going to get a nice steady flow of points. And then the third option would be Wirtz. Again, he'd be a sort of short-term option along with Cunha rather than longer term. But Liverpool's fixtures 4 of the next 5 look really good. I know he hasn't scored that well this season, but it'd be a good chance for him to, start putting some numbers on the board, get a few goals, a few assists. There's a good player there, obviously, so I think it's only a matter of time with him. I think at the moment, most likely I would go Cunha. But in all honesty, I'm just not that sure. I'm not even that certain on Cunha. So I think I'm just going to play Alderete and play 5 at the back this week. He's at home to Leeds. And I think just one more week of information will be nice before I make a decision. I have 2 free transfers as well. So I think, potentially go for Cunha next week after the Newcastle game. And just see how it plays out this weekend, I think. I don't want to get pressured into something that I'm not sure about. So looking at the current team, first up the defence. Ramsdale is away to United. Newcastle defence really hasn't looked that great for a good while now, especially in away games. Ramsdale's been a bit of a disaster, to be honest, since I brought him in for Pope. Away at Old Trafford, you're not really expecting too much. Maybe some save points, but I've been quite disappointed, really. Decided to stick with the Newcastle defence, and it's just not looked that great for a good while now. So I would like to move him on at some point, but I just got to wait until I've got a few transfers built up and no other problems to sort out. And Senesi is away to Brentford. Should be a good opportunity here for Bournemouth to try and keep a clean sheet. I think it's been a good while now since they've had one, and obviously losing it late on at Burnley last week was quite disappointing. Although Senesi just continues to hit the DEFCON, so he's at least getting a few points here and there, but need to see a few clean sheets really to justify keeping him long term. The fixtures aren't so great coming up, so if we don't get a clean sheet here, then I'm definitely going to be considered selling, I think. And Anderson is away to West Ham. Again, it's, DEFCON with Anderson is always great. He keeps picking those points up. It's nice to get the clean sheet on Monday night. But, this is another game where you're looking for that potential for a clean sheet. West Ham really not looking that great going forwards. So yeah, it's another one. When I brought Anderson in, he had the 3 good fixtures. We had a clean sheet out of one of them. So yeah, try and get another one here hopefully. But longer term, he's probably going to end up on my bench anyway. But yeah, good chance here anyway against West Ham, potentially a clean sheet for him. And Lequoir's at home to Spurs. I've got the Palace double up with Mark Guehi. Yeah, obviously really disappointed bringing in Guehi for the double up last week, and they conceded 4 to Leeds. Spurs are also pretty decent at set pieces. I think all the Leeds goals came from set pieces. So yeah, hopefully some sort of reaction from Palace. I think they looked a bit better against Arsenal in midweek, although it was a rotated Arsenal side. But I just can't see. They're a well-coached team. Glasner's a good coach, and I think, yeah, maybe it was just a blip last week. And Spurs certainly haven't looked that great in open play going forward. So, yeah, I think there's a good chance here of a Palace clean sheet, and obviously got good DEFCON potential with those two as well. And Alderete is at home to Leeds. As I mentioned earlier, I think I'm going to hold off the transfer this week and just play Alderete as a 5th defender. They've had clean sheets in the last 2 now, Sunderland. So, of course, now I'm going to start him. He's probably not going to get the clean sheet, but in terms of a fixture, it's a decent, home game against Leeds. I know they got 4 against Palace last week, but I think that's a bit of an anomaly, really. They're certainly not up there with the attacking numbers anyway. So, if any fixture that Sunderland are going to get a clean sheet, you'd say this has got to be up there with one of the best chances of the season. And Alderete is always good on the DEFCON numbers. He has tailed off a little bit since the start of the season, but he's still getting close most weeks. So, if Leeds play quite direct, good chance he'll pick that up as well. So, yeah, I think in terms of not, forcing a midfield transfer this week, I'm quite happy to play Alderete there at home against Leeds. And moving on to the midfield, Saka is at home to Brighton. I think it's a decent fixture for Arsenal, home game. Brighton, always a bit of an up and down side. They do tend to play quite well against the bigger sides, in fairness to them. But as I keep saying with Saka, he's the kind of guy you keep for most of the season. He's going to tick over nicely. And, any home game, you'd have a good chance of a return. So, yeah, always happy to keep Saka in my team. I'm not too worried about him. And I think, yeah, any home match, definitely good chance of a return there. And Foden is away to Forest. I think it's a good fixture for City. Forest have been okay under Dyche, but yeah, nothing special, certainly, especially in that Fulham game. They didn't look so good on Monday night. Foden been brilliant the last sort of 5-6 weeks. Yeah, when he's in form, you know he's always going to get chances, and yeah, he's a good finisher. So yeah, I think that's a very good fixture for City, and you'd expect them to continue their good form. Foden can get something out of the game. And Palmer is at home to Villa. He's building up his fitness slowly. He's had a goal and an assist in the last 2 matches. You think he's going to get close to the 90 minutes now. Chelsea certainly, need him to be in form and, firing for the rest of the season to try and get up in the top 4. And yeah, you don't even need the 90 minutes with Palmer. He's that good. Home game against Villa. I think Villa have overperformed a little bit so far. And yeah, you expect Chelsea to get chances, and Palmer's going to be involved. So yeah, good long-term hold, I think, Palmer. And I'm glad I got him in early now, because we're already seeing him, getting closer to his normal high level. And moving on to the forwards, Haaland is away to Forest. As I mentioned earlier, good fixture for City, this one. Haaland again showing he's involved in everything with City with his returns last week. Another no-brainer captain for me on this one. Just it's going to take a lot to not captain Haaland for quite a few weeks now, especially with Fernandes out and Saka not looking that explosive at the moment. So yeah, I think that's an easy decision again, and no point overthinking that. Away at Forest, yeah, it seems like a good fixture again for him. And Thiago is at home to Bournemouth. He's had a few blanks now, Thiago, and his sort of stats are looking quite bad for someone you're looking to score a few goals. He's really struggling to get chances at the moment. But a home game for Brentford, they're always going to, get some chances created for him, and he is the main man for them. Everything does go through him generally, so yeah, I wouldn't be surprised for him to turn it around and, get something on the board this week. Bournemouth have looked very leaky, especially away from home. So, yeah, wouldn't be surprised to see him get a few chances and, yeah, get some sort of returns on the board, I think. So in summary, Haaland captaincy again, I think it's just a no-brainer again this week. Be Saka again, just vice captain is the most reliable second option in the team. And I think I'm going to hold off on the midfield transfer this week, just play Alderete and see how I feel after seeing the weekend's games. So that's it for this one. Thanks for watching, and we'll catch you on the next one.